all began with a prickling in my thumbs and fingers of my right hand. In my head, I felt the sensation of a circuit breaker popping. I felt disconnected from my body. It was very interesting, and yet something was not right. At one point, I remember thinking, I can't make this stop. Why can't I make this stop? Whatever was happening was running its own course. I had absolutely no control. And now I'm terrified. Just the week before, I'd been in Michigan, sitting at the dining room table of my dear friend Jenny. We were just talking, and I said, Jenny, I don't know why I'm feeling this way. I just feel dull. And I can't believe that this is the way the rest of my life is supposed to feel. I just wish there was a way I could tweak just a little bit the way that I see and the way that I think about things. I know it would be better, but I just don't know how to do that. My wish soon came true. 7 days later, on July 24th, 2010, I'm in a hospital bed, alone, and pondering the nature of my new reality. Looking at a wall that I knew should be straight, and yet it wasn't. It was bent and arching over me. The earlier heightened sense of alarm and panic in the busy ER had now turned into a quiet fear. Now I'm just afraid. I'm afraid to go to sleep. I'm afraid I might not wake up. I knew at that moment I had a choice to make going forward, not knowing if my life would ever be the same again. I could be a cranky pants and wonder why me, or I could dig deep and face whatever was coming head on. Or as a friend more succinctly stated, I could be cold, wet, and miserable, or I could just be cold and wet. And with that, I was able to let go and fall asleep. I had just experienced in the early evening of that day a pontine stroke. The pons is a bit of connecting tissue in the upper part of the brainstem. It's a bridge. And mere hours before, I didn't even know I had a pons. In the days and weeks to come, in the hospital of rehabilitation care, I felt and developed a deep sense of awe and wonder for my body and mind to heal itself. It was pretty cool. I thought, wow, I kind of have a brand new baby brain. And with that, I felt a deep need to protect it. I felt I had a unique opportunity to reboot. And soon after leaving the hospital, I heard the phrase, good thoughts, good deeds. And it resonated with me. I internalized it as, say good, do good, be good. Growing up, my dad always said to me, as I left our home, be good, love. Okay, Dad. Not really giving it a second thought. Now these simple words took on a new meaning for me. They gave me a new framework to build my thoughts on and from. Words matter. They have the power to shape our reality. What words am I choosing to use to narrate for the internal narration of my days? I have to wash the dog, or I get to wash the dog. Either way, the dog is stinky and needs a bath. Which way sounds like more fun? Is what I'm thinking about doing, is it going to hurt someone or is it going to help someone? These are simple questions to ask of ourselves. I first started choosing not to whine, not to complain, or excessively judge myself or others. How does any of that help a situation? It doesn't. And there's so much that needs to be done in our world. There's so much that we can complain about, and it can be overwhelming. Now, instead of being overwhelmed, I ask myself, what can I do? Unless I can do something about it, and am willing to do something about it, I choose to let it go. And just making that simple change freed up a lot of my mind space to focus on what I can do. It gave me peace of mind, a simple operating system. Soon enough, it became automatic, a habit. These words, say good, do good, be good, have followed me, and I felt driven to do something with them. But what? Then, driving with my family to Sacramento to spend Thanksgiving with everybody in my hometown, I saw a large yellow sign showcasing in beautiful black friendly script the word guns, along with silhouettes of various semi-automatic weapons. I was triggered, as my son would say, ranting to my husband for the next 20 miles. Imagine every day someone riding to and from work sees that sign. It plants a seed. It puts an idea in their head, and the more they see it, the more it grows, and the more they're accepting of it and comfortable with it, and slowly it becomes another idea. That sign should say good, do good, be good. So every day, those words become imprinted in our great unconscious mind. And I am willing to bet that every single one of us in this room, no matter what your background or beliefs, is in agreement with these 6 simple words. They are powerful and they need no explanation. A preschooler understands them, and a neurosurgeon understands them. Say good, do good, be good. They give us a common ground, a foundation in the belief of good, an opening to talk, and something we can all agree on. These words, say good, do good, be good, have the power to unite us. So, after that rant to my husband, I whip out my phone and I start researching the cost of a billboard rental. Holy macadoodle, it is expensive. All right, take it down a level. How about an ad in the newspaper? Nope, still not affordable. I'm yelling in my head, this is not fair. Jumping right back into the land of cold, wet, and miserable. And yet again, words from my dad came to my head. Lily, life is not fair. What am I going to do? And it came to me one night as I was drifting off to sleep, in that in-between space between being awake and sleeping, that space where so many good ideas make themselves known. I know. I am going to make little rocks out of clay and stamp into them the words, say good, do good, be good. And then I'm going to scatter them around town for people to find, little treasures, tucking them into nooks and crannies, hiding in plain sight. I was giddy with the thought of it. personal pocket-sized billboards. I could not wait to get my hands into the clay. And I know some of you are probably thinking, why didn't she just use social media? And I will tell you, for as long as I can remember, I've collected rocks. I love the beauty of them. I love how they feel in my hands. I love how each one is different. And I also love clay. I love its coolness and its heaviness. I love how you can mold it and squash it and remold it. It's solid. So I drew on what I loved, what made me and continues to make me happy. I drew on this to create a solution that was unique to me. And what I do with these stones is I look for good. I look for ways to connect with good. And when someone is being nice, or I feel someone is nice, I dig into my bag, looking for a stone, and I offer it. It's an offering to connect. Each lily stone has a story, and I'd like to share one with you. This is the story of Dennis. About a month ago, my husband and I were in a coffee shop waiting for our drinks to come up. And I noticed a man looking at his phone, and he just had the sparkle around him. He was radiating good. I'm like, oh, I got to give him a stone. And so I go rummaging in my bag, and I pull one out. I thought, I really need to let him know that he has touched my heart. So I walk over to him, and I say, hi, my name is Lilli, and I make these little stones out of clay, and I give them to nice people. And I think you're a nice person. And he just smiled and said, thank you. And he said, you just made my day, as I handed him his stone. And he said, and I told him, well, you just made mine. And then I kind of backed away. And I noticed him looking at the little rock, just turning it in his hands. And I could see that it meant something to him as he took out his phone to take a photo. So I kind of go back up to him again. And I say, each one of these I make by my hand. And they're all made with the same basic material, clay and glaze. But each one is a little bit different. And the process is the same. I mold it, and then it gets fired. But each is still a little different. And if you turn it over on the back, there's a number. They all have the same words. Say good, do good, be good. It's really pretty simple. And he said, matter-of-factly, yes, it is. I asked, what's your name? And he said, Dennis. And then I asked him if I could take a photo of him with the lily stone. And he said, sure. And then he hesitated for a second. And he said, well, what about? And I said, oh, he was wearing a Steelers hat and a Steelers jacket. And I just laughed. I'm like, I don't care what team you like, you know. And he just laughed and smiled, and I took the photo, and then we hugged. I'm not sure I probably will never see Dennis again, but he's here. I'll never forget him. And then I walked back to my husband, and I sat down next to him, and he looked at me, and he said, Lilli, that just made my day. And Dennis left the shop with a little skip in his step as he waved goodbye. Good is a feeling, and feelings spread. I envision it like this. My little whiteboard here. The circles are you and me. And see, we have empty, negative spaces. Some of the circles are touching, some are overlapping, and some not at all. We have a choice what to put into these empty negative spaces. This is where we put good and beauty. This is where I put my lily stones. I believe we are all born to feel, to create, and to connect, to use the good each and every one of us was born with. Our job is to uncover the good that is within us all and to share it and to look for it in others. What is that thing that burbles up from your chest and into your throat so that you can barely get a word out? And it makes you spontaneously clap your hands. Do that. Ask yourself in any given situation, how can I make this better? What is the good I have to offer? You will come up with your own beautiful solution based on what you love and what makes you happy. Maybe it has to do with spreadsheets, or building a website, or building a bridge, or baking a beautiful loaf of bread. Research, nurturing. Only you know in your heart of hearts. We each have an opportunity to put our own unique good into those spaces. And when we do, we can close the gap that we perceive as between us. We can create an us. Each and every one of us has a story, a once upon a time, a beginning, a middle, and an end, with our own defining moments. The actual moment of my stroke could be thought of as one sentence. A clot formed in my body and blocked the flow of blood in my brain. That's it. Yet the repercussions of that minuscule blockage have changed the course of my life. Would I have ever imagined that at 50-something, I'd be making little rocks out of clay and handing them out to nice people? No. And yet here I am, doing the best I can with what I have and sharing it. My wish came true, not in any way I could have ever imagined. I do see things differently now. I am no longer disconnected from myself. The dullness is gone. I am engaged with the world around me. I am connected. And for this, I am grateful. Each of you has a lily stone that you were given today with your name tag. If you could please hold it out, pull it out and hold on to it. You are now connected with over 2,000 people throughout this world who also have found or have received a lily stone. All of you have that in common. That little stone that each of you is holding, I have made it with my hands. My fingerprints are fired into it. I feel like you're holding a little piece of me. And I am trusting you to hold a little piece of me. Hold on to it and share it. That little rock is a touchstone. It is a trail marker. It is a cornerstone and a catalyst. Say good, do good, be good. An idea worth spreading. Thank you.